What is going on, y'all? Welcome back to yet another video. With this video, breaking down the same exact very tool that I use as a recruiter when processing the applicants to figure out what job skills they are pre-qualified for based on their test results and their test results alone. This is a tool that I'm going to break down to you by helping you figure out, once you've successfully passed the A.S.V.A.B test, what job skills do I qualify for? So stick around. Here we go! What's up, everybody? Welcome back here to TEAMSWARTZ, and if this is your first time here, welcome to my channel. Here I post a ton of Army basic training tips, recruiting, and other Army-related videos, to include going live weekly to address your most desired questions and concerns, typically on Wednesdays at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. My name is Lewis, your local New York Army National Guard's full-time recruiter and part-time drill sergeant, conveniently located in Midtown Manhattan in New York City. Now, unlike colleges or universities where they allow you to study whatever your heart desires, regardless of your mental capabilities, physical limitations, or restrictions, they're there to take your money to give you a degree of choice. Now, the ASVAB test, the Armed Services Vocational Aptitude Battery Test, is a test designed to figure out, based on what you've learned in a classroom environment or through real-world experiences, what do we feel that you're going to have the potential of being able to learn and be successful in. And those are the opportunities or job skills that we are going to present to you with the highest probability of being successful. There are other factors into deciding which MOSs we can actually offer you, but in this video, I'm going to break down to you a tool that I use as a recruiter that you can use yourself to conduct further research on your own. Again, most recruiters are going to do right by you, but there are other factors that are going to weed out MOSs or your military occupation specialty, which is your job skill, right? So other things that are included but not limited that are going to factor in and weed out opportunities is U.S. citizenship, clearance eligibility for top secret clearance, so on and so forth. Your medical profile, how you do on the medical exam. Do you have any limitations, restrictions? Are you going to require a medical waiver? To include moral violations. Have you ever been arrested, handcuffed, stood before a judge, issued a ticket, citations, or summons? That too is going to impact your eligibility on certain MOSs. To include a waiver, if otherwise required, is also going to restrict you from certain positions. To include possible financial history, which will impact, as previously described, your clearance eligibility. So if you have any negative debt in the past, charge-offs, negative debt where you've been late for more than 30 days and consistently, or if you have bankruptcy, so on and so forth. So your recruiter is going to factor in the total package, but this is a tool that I'm going to share with you so that you can do your own research based on your test results and test results alone. Your recruiter will factor in everything else. And this is a tool that is on the GoArmy.com website on understanding your ASVAB scores. I will put the link down below in the description area. And once you get and obtain your line scores, you can then plug them down below and figure out which MOSs you are pre-qualified for. Your recruiter will handle the rest. Now, once you successfully pass the test, I would highly recommend that you obtain a copy of your test results so that you can do your own research. Either they can print it out or they can take a photo with their cell phone and shoot it to you via text message. All you need are your line scores. So if you don't know what a line score is or an AFQT score, I did a video, I'll post a link down below, in understanding the ASVAB test. So in brief, your AFQT score is comprised of the 2 English and 2 math sections. There are a total of 9 overall sections that you will be tested upon, and they take multiple sections and they average them out 10 different ways, and those 10 averages are referred to as line scores. The higher those scores are, the more opportunities and job skills, or MOSs, you will be pre-eligible for. Now, understand that most recruiters are going to be reluctant on providing to you your test results. Not that we don't want to give it to you, it's just typically when an applicant is asking for a copy of your test results is because you're more than likely shopping around looking for the BBD, the bigger, better deal. And that makes recruiters feel less confident in your commitment into joining their branch of service or components of the Army. By you requesting your test results is going to make some recruiters a bit nervous. So understand that I, as a recruiter, I will always give you your test results upon request. I don't typically give them out because it's not really a thing that we do, but if you want it, I have no qualms with giving it to you. Just understand that recruiters are going to be insecure and feel like you're shopping around, and that's fine. I, as a recruiter, regardless if you join the Guard or not, if you are looking to join another branch of service component of the Army, I will support your decision no matter what. Now, obviously, I'm a recruiter, so I'm going to try to salvage your commitment to the Guard, but if it's in your best interest and for your reasons that make sense to go to another component of the Army or branch of service, I'm going to support you regardless. I've walked people over to active duty Army, Navy, Air Force, so on and so forth. It doesn't really matter, right? You're joining the service, and it is a big boy and a big girl decision. And if you're shopping around, perfect. More power to you. Just make sure that whatever branch of service that you're trying to go for, and if that's going to make you happier, go for it, regardless of what your recruiter says to you. We're recruiters. We're going to get paid regardless if you join or not. So if it makes you happier and it meets your reasons and your reasons alone to go somewhere else, by all means. But the earlier in the process that you can figure out which component of the Army or branch of service that you want to join, commit early. There is nothing worse than a recruiter processing you from A to Y and about to get to Z, where you sign your contract for you to be like, you know what? I think I'm gonna go over here instead and join this branch of service or this component of the Army because what have you, right? Circumstances changes, situations change, I get it, but try your very, very best that before you decide to commit to a test or a medical exam, that you commit to one branch or the other or component of the Army before proceeding with the process, because it is a lot of work. The average applicant takes anywhere from 3 to 10 hours to process. That's not including windshield time, processing by going back and forth to MEPS and so on and so forth. This is just administrative input into the system, not including waivers, so on and so forth. So it is a lot of energy and time that we invest as your recruiter to get you into the Army as a whole. I get it that it could be tough at times because recruiters like to rush things, or for lack of a better term, rush things. It's not that we're rushing things, it's just that we want to strike while the iron is freaking hot, yeah? So while the interest is at its peak, at its highest motivational moment, that's when we want to get you in boots as soon as possible. So once you come into us, we're gonna be like, listen, this is what's gonna happen. You're gonna do this, you're gonna do this, you're gonna do this in a timely fashion, and we're gonna be on top of you like white on rice on a white paper plate, sitting in the middle of the Arctic, being eaten up by a polar bear, pooping out a whole lot of snowflakes. That's a whole lot of white. And we're gonna be on top of you from A through Z. Generally, the longer your process takes, that interest level goes from its peak to less interested to less interested to less interested to it's an afterthought, and then we run into issues where applicants are making up rescheduling days because they, it's very easy to say yes, but it's very difficult for somebody to give a negative response, or I changed my mind, or I'm not interested anymore. So they string recruiters along, right? Saying, oh, let's reschedule, today's not a good day, or what have you, right? So if at any point throughout the process you change your mind and it's solid, like, I don't want to do this, just be straight up with us. We get paid regardless if you join or not, but we need to focus on the people that want to make it happen right now. So once you do pass the test, you can look up every single MOS that you are pre-qualified for based on your line scores, your test results. MOS, again, is your military occupation specialty, the job skill in which you are joining up to do within the Army, whether that's active duty full-time or in the Army Reserve or Guard, which is part-time, working as little as 2 days per month and 2 weeks out of the summer. The link will be down in the description area for you to check out. Click on the link, plug in your line scores just like this, starting from your GT all the way through your ST line score. And that's going to populate every single MOS and or opportunity that the Army can possibly offer you. Again, this is just on your test results and test results alone. Each component of the Army are gonna have varying differences on what we can possibly offer you for various reasons. So your recruiter will look at this list and curate a list that you're otherwise eligible for, vacant, available, and can find a training seat for you. If for some reason you have a potential issue, financial history, arrest, medical issue, test result, what have you, We cannot offer you something that you do not qualify for. So keep that in mind, okay, when you're dealing with your recruiter. And this list that it will populate is Army-wide, whether it's active duty, reserve, or guard. This is Army-wide. Your recruiter is probably going to use the same website or another system to curate all the MOSs that you're pre-qualified for, implementing the other filters, like I said, clearance, U.S. citizenship, driver's license, waivers, medical issues, law violations, and financial history, so on and so forth. That list will be a lot smaller, but you have the potential of qualifying for over 150 different MOSs and opportunities Army-wide. Your recruiter, again, is going to curate that list, leveraging those filters as previously described. I also want to add in here that if you are considering in going part-time in the Army Reserve or the Army National Guard, the MOS of choice when at time of enlistment, in my opinion, and it could be biased just because I am a recruiter, but most people who join part-time are not, for the most part, joining for a particular MOS. They are joining to have the benefits of being part of the military on a part-time basis, whether it's low-cost health insurance, dental, vision, life insurance, right? All these different perks that we get as a soldier, to include possibly going to school up to 100% if you're going guard, or up to $4,000 through the federal tuition on the reserve side. I'm not gonna go into the benefits, but there are a ton of benefits that reservists will have at their disposal for being a part-time soldier. The MOS, for the most part, is, again, not that big of a deal because you're only doing it 2 to 3 days per month as a part-time soldier. Now, it is more prevalent, more important for you to choose an MOS that you feel that you're going to, at the very least, enjoy or be confident that you're going to like this job, because you're going to be doing it on active duty, which is full-time, 365 days out of the year, with 30 days of paid military leave / vacation, right? So I would not choose or settle on an MOS that you know for a fact that you're not going to like it if you're going active duty. If you're going active duty, wait until an MOS that you are otherwise eligible for becomes available. Active duty recruiters can only offer you a vacancy that is available. If there are no vacancies, it is not an option. For example, myself included, when I was joining the Army National Guard, I wanted to be a 12 Mike, which is a firefighter. I was a volunteer firefighter for my local town upstate. I really wanted it. I wanted to be in there like swimwear and be a firefighter. Well, the New York Army National Guard does not have any firefighting positions. Again, when you go active duty, that is such an enjoyable, awesome MOS that most people do not want to leave it. So they have a high retention rate. So those positions do not become available often. So with that being said, they refer to it as a unicorn MOS. Have you ever seen a unicorn? Me neither. So keep that in mind when you're looking at certain opportunities. Some MOSs are a dime a dozen, and other MOSs rarely open up. So keep that in mind. But do not settle on an MOS that you know for a fact that you're not going to like that job. And by waiting for your MOS, whether you're going guard, reserve, or active duty, it could be a few days, it could be a few weeks, a couple of months, maybe even a half a year before that MOS becomes available. Again, active duty can only offer you what is available. Guard, reserve, there's a little more flexibility because sometimes, like in the National Guard, at least here in the New York Army National Guard, if we have no slots available, we could put you into a excess slot with a commander's permission. And if the unit has more than 125% strength in that MOS in that particular unit, then that unit will be closed off to you and not be an opportunity for you. So if you run into those types of issues, if you're in a financially good place and you can wait until that MOS becomes available, an option for you, then wait it out. If you can't wait due to whatever, and like let's say you're trying to go active duty, then you might have to settle for something a little less exciting to make it happen and to get in there like swimwear. Bottom line is, be as flexible as you possibly can, and you might have to settle for something a little less exciting. So when I curate my list, I always tell you, look at this list, do your research by typing in MOS 11B, for example, into the search bar in Google, and watch YouTube videos around possible MOSs that may be of interest. So be as flexible as you possibly can, because when you Google these MOSs, when you're presented with a possible list of MOSs that you are pre-qualified for, or if you're doing your own research, Google them by typing in MOS 11B as an example into Google and watch YouTube videos around that MOS. I want you to go through your list of pre-qualified MOSs based on all the filters that I as a recruiter that will provide to you, or when you're doing this on your own. List all the MOSs that you are most interested. Put me in boots, coach, to least interested but willing to sign a contract for. Again, if you're going, if you're going active duty or whatever, if you're joining the Army, if you don't like your MOS, we're not like a civilian company where you put in your 2-week notice and you pop smoke and be like, I'm out of here. You will have to fulfill your obligation by completing your entire contract for a minimum of 3 to 4 years. So if you're going active duty, please choose an MOS that you're going to like. The difference between going guard and reserve versus active duty is if you don't like your MOS, as previously described, you're only dealing with it for 2 to 3 days out of the month, which means that it is more flexible, right? Most people join for the benefits, not so much for the MOS. Being part of the Guard or Reserve adds to your life, not takes away. So the analogy I like to use is you're looking at a hallway and all the doors of opportunity are still open to you in the Guard or Reserve. Like if you have that entrepreneurial spirit and you want to, put your hands in a bunch of different pots, by all means, all those doors of opportunity are open to you. When you go active duty, all those doors, or like 99% of them, will close off to you, right? So Big Army wants you to focus on Big Army things, and that's it, right? You need permission to do or deviate from anything other than what Big Army wants you to do. So that's what makes the Army National Guard and the Army Reserve more intriguing to those who have a good paying civilian job and they just want to give back to their country and or state in the reserve or guard. One other thing that I also want to cover in this video is talking about the 5-point line score waiver, right? Sometimes we can even go upwards to like 9, even 10 points on a very restricted case-by-case basis that has a meritorious reason. But with that being said, like this is Army-wide, whether you're active duty, reserve, or guard. For some reason, active duty recruiters steer clear of this option or this viable opportunity for potential applicants. But when you take the test and you have your line scores, we as recruiters can add 5 points to your individual line score. Let's say that, for example, you scored a 96 on your CL clerical line score, right? But you need 101 points to be a 42 Alpha Human Resources Specialist. We can add up to 5 points, sometimes more, right, to help you qualify for that particular MOS. Now, this isn't open or a possibility for all MOSs. Here on the screen are a list of MOSs that are restricted that do not authorize a line score point waiver, right? So we as recruiters, we don't personally do it. The guidance counselors at MEPS can call the schoolhouse and ask for permission, however many points that you're missing to qualify for a particular MOS. And if the schoolhouse approves it, that will afford you the opportunity to get the MOS of choice. Again, up to 5 points, easy, same day process. If you're requesting more than 5 points, again, this is on a case-by-case basis. Do not bank on this option as being a viable option or a solution to your problem. But we have gotten telephonic waivers up to 9, even 10 points for specific MOSs. Again, it's up to the schoolhouse to approve it. If the schoolhouse disapproves it, that MOS is not an option. So I will pull up 2 lists leveraging the link that I've been talking about in this video. One with your actual line scores, like these are the ones that you are definitely pre-qualified for, no issues, whatever, right? And then I'll do a secondary list of adding 5 points to each line score. And then I will compare the 2 lists of MOSs that you're pre-qualified for and add those ones that you now qualify for based on that 5-point line score waiver. Then I will say, listen, these are ones that you're qualified for. These ones extra, I can get you in, but we got to do a telephonic waiver ahead of time to make sure that we can get you this MOS. If it's under 5 points, you are good to go. On day of enlistment, we put 3 points for CL, what have you, on the outside of your packet. So the guidance counselor knows that they need to call the schoolhouse in the morning to get permission and authorization to enlist you into that MOS with that line score waiver. So hopefully that makes sense and you stay with me on that. With that being said, you are one of the real ones. If you made it this far to the video, do me a favor, like this video, smash it if that's something you're into. Subscribe if you haven't already. I love you. I love you for making it this far to the video. I'll see you in the next one.